For almost 100 years, there's been this one book that's kind of like the secret handbook for go-getters, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. But what's the actual formula inside it? Well, in this breakdown, we're going to boil down all that timeless wisdom into a simple, actionable blueprint you can actually use.
Okay, let's just start with a really big question. What if achieving your wildest dreams wasn't about luck, or perfect timing, or, being born with a silver spoon? What if success was actually a science, a formula that literally anyone could learn and use?
Well, that is the exact question that author Napoleon Hill wanted to answer. And get this, he spent 20 years of his life studying over 500 of the most successful people of his time. I mean, we're talking about giants like Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, all just to figure out their secrets.
So after all that work, what did he find? He boiled it all down to this one incredibly powerful idea. And really, it's the foundation for everything else in the book. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Seriously, that one sentence, it's the key to the whole thing.
So let's dig into that a little deeper. What is this big secret really? Well, Hill called it the millionaire mindset.
And the secret is surprisingly simple. It's this. Thoughts are things. They're not just little wisps of nothing. They have real energy, real power. Think about it. Every amazing achievement, every huge fortune, every single invention, it all started as just one little thought in someone's head. Your world on the outside is basically a mirror of your world on the inside.
All right, so here's our game plan. We've talked about that core mindset. Next, we're going to dive into the practical stuff. Step 1 is programming your mind. Step 2 is building your blueprint. Step 3 is taking action. And then finally, we'll get to this mysterious thing called the sixth sense.
Okay, let's jump right in. Step 1, program your mind. Because the real work, it doesn't start out there in the world. It starts right in here.
Now, the key word here, the one you really have to pay attention to, is burning. Hill makes it super clear that just, wishing for something or kinda hoping it happens, that's not going to cut it. You need a powerful, all-consuming obsession with your goal. That burning desire, that's the fuel that's going to get you through all the tough stuff.
So how do you actually build that burning desire? Well, Hill gives us this amazing 6-step recipe. You can see the pattern here, right? Every single step is designed to take you from a vague hope to something super concrete. You define the exact goal so it's real. You decide what you'll give up for it. That's commitment. You set a date. Boom, urgency. And then writing it all down and reading it every day, that starts to literally reprogram your mind.
And that daily ritual, that's not just, a cute little reminder. It's a really powerful technique that Hill called auto-suggestion. What you're doing is intentionally programming your subconscious mind. That's the part of your brain that's working 24/7, even when you're not thinking about it. You're moving past just hoping, and you're building this solid, unshakable belief that your mind will figure out how to make it happen. Okay, so your mind is getting programmed. Your desire is fired up. But now you need a map, right? That brings us to step 2, build your blueprint. This is where the dream starts to look a lot more like a real plan.
First things first, Hill makes this really important distinction. There's general knowledge, knowing a little bit about a lot of things. That's cool for trivia night, but it's probably not going to make you rich. What you need is specialized knowledge, that deep, focused expertise for your specific goal. And hey, you don't have to know it all yourself, but you do have to know how to get that knowledge or how to team up with people who have it.
And where do you come up with these plans? Well, it all happens in what Hill calls the workshop of the mind, your imagination. He says there are 2 kinds. Synthetic imagination is kind of like rearranging old ideas into something new, like building something new with Lego bricks you already have. But creative imagination, that's where the brand new insights come from. It's like getting a totally new kind of brick you've never seen before. Those flashes of genius, that's it. And you need both.
And this is just so critical to understand. A brilliant idea without a clear, organized plan to back it up, it's just a daydream. That's all it is. The idea has to become a plan before it can ever become a reality.
Okay, so you've programmed your mind. You've built your blueprint. But none of that means a thing without this third and maybe most critical step, taking unstoppable action.
But before we get into how to do that, we have to talk about the biggest enemy of success. After looking at thousands of people who failed, Hill pinpointed one single habit that crushes more dreams than anything else. Any guesses what it is? Indecision. Yep. Procrastination, that habit of just putting things off. What Hill found was that successful people make decisions really fast and then they change them very slowly, if they ever do. Unsuccessful people, they do the exact opposite. They take forever to decide, and then change their minds all the time. You have to get good at making firm, decisive moves.
But being decisive doesn't mean you have to go it alone. Actually, Hill said the most powerful way to make things happen is with his famous idea, the mastermind. It's basically a group of people, all on the same page, working together towards a goal. It's like all their brain power and energy combines to create this third, super powerful mind that can tackle almost anything.
And, of course, taking action over and over again requires persistence. But look at how all the pieces we've talked about fit together now. Your burning desire? That's your fuel. Your detailed plan? That's your roadmap. Your mastermind group? That's your support system. And with all that in place, you start to see every failure not as a dead end, but just as another piece of feedback, another stepping stone.
So this brings us to the final, and maybe the most fascinating part of Hill's formula. This is kind of the peak of the mountain, unlocking your sixth sense. It's where everything else we've talked about comes together.
Hill had this great way of explaining it. He said your brain is like a broadcasting and receiving station for thoughts. It sends out a signal based on what you're focused on, and it picks up signals on that same frequency. You know how when you decide you want a certain car, you suddenly start seeing it everywhere? It's kind of like that. When you're laser focused on a goal, you start to notice the ideas, the people, and the opportunities that were probably there all along. You just weren't tuned into them before.
And when all those other principles we've covered, the burning desire, the belief, the planning, the persistence, when they all just become second nature to you, that's when you develop this sixth sense. It's like a powerful intuition, that gut feeling that guides you. You get these flashes of insight that seem to come out of nowhere. It's the ultimate advantage, and it comes from mastering all the other steps first.
So, that's the formula. See? It's not magic. It's a process, a disciplined one. You program your mind. You build a solid blueprint. You take relentless action. And these ideas are just as powerful today as they were when Hill first wrote them. So really, the only question left is for you. Now that you have the formula, what's the one burning desire you're going to commit to first?